Hi everyone, welcome to Mommy Mondays, episode 2. I'm filming this right after Lyric's sports day. So it was his first sports day, and it was great. You know, I'm one of those people, I'm a ham. I'm into all that stuff. I'm into school spirit and cheerleading and teams and themes and all that great stuff. So he was in the yellow house. I have hardly any yellow in my closet. As a matter of fact, if I do have yellow, it's typically shoes or accessories or something. It's not clothes. So I had to borrow this Brazil jersey from my husband. I am not a Brazil supporter, although I do love the country. I've not been on that Jamaican bandwagon of the team, of supporting this team, at least. I was a big fan of Germany, actually. And I say was because I really loved the coach who used to like stick his hand and smell it, you know? You know what I'm talking about, right? He used to do it in his like balls and in his butt, and it was hilarious. But his team was always winning. So now they've changed him, and it's just not the same. The team's not the same. The entertainment on the sidelines isn't the same. It's just not the same. Anyhow, I wanted to know if you guys, I'm being distracted because someone's actually calling. Sorry about that. So yeah. So I wanted to know, who do you support? And would you wear an opposing team jersey if it is that you had nothing to wear? So here we go. If you're new here, I put out videos. Well, Mommy Mondays is on Mondays, and we talk about mommy, all things mommy. The same person keeps calling, like they're not getting the picture. But yeah, so we talk about all things mommy, mommy mayhem, mommy madness, mommy magic. Like, it's great stuff. And on the other days I do closet conversations. That's why I'm in my closet. I'm not always going to be in my closet for Mommy Mondays, but I am now. But yeah, if you're interested in any of that stuff, in closet conversations, we talk about art, fashion, you know, everything, nothing, all of it. And if you like any of this content, you might want to hit the subscribe button, and you can comment on whichever videos resonate with you, and you can share it if you think there's someone who would be interested. So now, back to Mommy Mondays. So I had a question, and it's so good about the question. The person was asking me, it was Manju Dadlani. She was asking me about my pregnancy itself, which I said I would go into this week. What was it like for me mentally? And if I ended up like hating my husband and all of that. And she also talked about, she didn't ask me about, but she said that, you know, in Jamaica, if you're a smidge over 25 and you're over 160 pounds, they kind of discourage you, is what it sounded like she's saying, from having a baby. And I don't know that to be the case, because that wasn't my experience. So my experience was, I actually was with 2 doctors, like I said before, and they were really, really supportive in terms of getting me pregnant. But it would probably help that they're both fertility specialists, other than being doctors. Like, they're actually about getting people pregnant. And so I guess they feel like that is, I guess, the challenge in someone who's like pushing 40, I suppose. Because I was about 35 when I, you know, went to them asking why it wasn't happening, or 36. So yeah, I guess it was kind of like, but I mean, I didn't seek out fertility specialists to go to. It just so happened that they also happen to be very good doctors that are highly recommended. And then They happen to love getting people pregnant. So, I guess it depends on where you are in Jamaica and how they feel about that and how easy it is for them to get you pregnant or not, or for you to do it on your own. I mean, I don't know, because they were, they never said anything negative or that it couldn't happen until they received the results from the tests. So they were very, very, very thorough about it first before even, because they were very ready to get me pregnant. So there's that. So that wasn't my experience. So what I would say to that is, like, keep looking for the right doctor, because that, you know, I mean, I don't even think I found my right doctor until after I gave birth here in Jamaica. I didn't give birth in Jamaica, but after I gave birth and came back, I think is when I actually found my fit of doctor. So that's the first thing. So what was my pregnancy experience like mentally? Okay, so I was probably the most depressed woman you ever find pregnant. I'm a worker bee. I like to do a lot of things. I like to be in stuff. I like different projects. I like to be on the move. I'm one of those people that like to do a lot. My pregnancy, remember I said that when I got pregnant, I was dizzy and I was tired and I was sweating and all of this. Well, it was like on steroids during my pregnancy. Like, I was dizzy all the time. If I made a sandwich, I would have to rest before I could eat the sandwich. I live upstairs and downstairs, and maybe I could make it downstairs sometimes. If I did, I was dizzy. I was profusely sweating. I had to sit immediately. I knew something was wrong. And this is where, Manju, maybe you have a point, because I knew something was wrong. Because remember, I would have seen lots of people pregnant over the years, and they could always do everything. And they could go to work, and they could jog, and they could this, and they could that. And I couldn't. And I just couldn't. And I was like, okay, it's fine if I can't, but I should be able to go downstairs. I should be able to make a sandwich and eat it. Not just make the sandwich and, you know, have to rest first. So we ended up finding out that something was wrong, but not before I was told, oh, you're just pregnant. Oh, you know, it affects people differently. Oh, it's fine. I had a scare. I have pseudotumor cerebri. I've talked about it on Closet Conversations, but in order to manage it quickly, what it is that my brain thinks there's a tumor, so it produces more cerebrospinal fluid, so water, extra waters in the brain, causing pressure and all sorts of things. So in order to control it, every now and then, I get a lumbar puncture and they take down the pressure in the brain, so they take out the fluid. When I was 5 months pregnant, I woke up one morning, like 1 o'clock in the morning, with crazy headache. And I kind of knew that it meant that I needed the pressure relief from my brain. However, when I contacted the doctor that always does it, he said it could also be, oh, what is the thing? I can never remember the name of it. It's like preeclampsia. I always think it's an M. Preeclampsia. So apparently preeclampsia also gives headaches and all sorts of things. Everything that I was feeling, apparently preeclampsia gives as well. So they had to make sure that it wasn't preeclampsia. So, but it was on a weekend. And my doctor, who tells me, don't worry about it, you're just pregnant, whatever. Because he likes to get people pregnant, but I mean, he thinks, you know, I guess he's seen it all in all his years. Anyway, so he wasn't available on the weekend, and he told me to go to Andrews. Andrews is a hospital here that I kind of use hospital loosely, right? So it was COVID time. There was no way I was going to go to Andrews and make them test the protein in my pee, because that's what he said to do. And I was like, I'm not going to Andrews. Anyhow, my husband plays football with a doctor whose sister is also a really good OBGYN. And she said she'd see me that day. So she tested for the protein. She did everything. She checked me all out and said, no, you don't have preeclampsia. I would go ahead and do the lumbar puncture, because you cannot be like this from 5 months till 9 months. And pregnancy causes more cerebrospinal fluid. So no. So when I was leaving, she said, is there anything else? Do you have any other complaints? And I said, yeah, you know, I've been dizzy the whole pregnancy. And she said, what do you mean dizzy? And I was like, I can't do anything. And I was like, I cannot do anything. So I don't get dressed up to go out. I don't do anything. Like, I could count on my hands. My social event is going to the doctor to check on the baby. And she was just like, no. And I said, yes. And she said, okay, let me do some tests. And she ran like a whole blood panel and everything. And I think your hemoglobin is supposed to be somewhere around 14 or something like that. Mine was at 8, which apparently is like really low. It would be anemia. And it would be the reason why I was dizzy and tired. I mean, I would sleep in my pregnancy. I would sleep like 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon, and then I'm in bed on time. Like I was always sleeping, like, or dizzy or sweating, or like, it was terrible. Remember that I'm a worker bee, like I'm a busybody. I hated my life. And at the same time, COVID was going on. So I had to be protected from the outdoors. Plus, it was the same time of lockdowns in Jamaica. So everywhere closed at 4 and 5 o'clock. Plus, I was in the middle of this house renovation. And, one, I like things pretty. So seeing it not pretty was a problem. 2, it was hazardous because we had to move in when it wasn't complete because of COVID again. And 3, the workmen wouldn't come regularly because it makes no sense them leaving from fire to come if they have to go back at 4 o'clock or whatever time it was for the lockdown. So they wouldn't show up. And it was just madness. It was just the worst time in my life. I wasn't grateful for anything. The only thing I was grateful for was the baby. And like, I would literally get up, go to the bathroom 100 times for the day, and that would be my exercise. So I would pray though on the way to the bathroom and on the way back. So I got in a lot of prayers. And I would pray for a healthy, happy baby, and one who was developmentally sound and secure in himself. And like not confused. You understand? So I really wanted him to not, wonder who he is. And in this day and age, if he's a boy or a girl, or feel out of sorts in his own body. Like, I wanted him to just come and have a really normal existence and a comfortable adjustment to life and to world. And I wanted him healthy and I wanted him happy. And for right now, that's what it seems like I got. So I'm very, very grateful. But I mean, I prayed all the time. I also paid keen attention to my diet, because of the fact that I knew I couldn't move around a lot, because I was so dizzy, because I was so this and so that. It was just like I drank 16 20-ounce cups of water a day, 16 of them. And I drank, that was all I drank. I drank coconut water here and there as well. I ate walnuts because they say that's great for brain development. I ate salads. My husband makes the best salads, and he would make me a huge salad. And I would just pick at that. I would have nuts by my bedside for when I'd get hungry, because you get hungry and you get hungry fast. Well, I don't know everybody's experience, but mine is like, I'll be fine, I'll be fine, I'll be fine. And then it's boom, an attack of hunger. And it's like, oh. And occasionally my friends would take me like for a lunch or something, and I would go and have lunch. But also the fact that I couldn't earn, because a lot of my own worth, remember, like, I feel like I'm a very independent person. So a lot of my own worth is based on what I can earn. Like, I don't want someone necessarily handing me money. Although now that I'm a mom, please go ahead and hand it to me. But before, I was very, you know, like, I didn't want that. Like, I wanted to do everything. I always did everything, and that's what I knew. So it's something that goes on in your psyche when you're not able to anymore. And I wasn't able to because of, you know, how I was feeling. Like, I was just incapacitated for a lot of the time. So, and then I had pains from early, which a lot of people say is not the case for them. But I had a lot of pains very early on, stretching pains and whatever they call it. I don't know. You'll hear about a lot of things. I had nosebleeds, which I never heard about it till I had got it. And when I got it, they said, "Oh yeah, that's pretty common." And I'm like, so why does nobody tell you? I was on blood thinners, like I said before, because of my conditions, and the blood thinners hurt like hell. And I'm not joking. Like, it's the actual medicine that goes in that you feel burning. And then it bruises as well. So and that was every single day. So my husband would give them to me every morning because I couldn't give them to myself. And like, you do it at the same time every morning. And it was really supposed to be morning and evening because of how at risk I was. But in the beginning, I didn't start with that. It wasn't until I got with the high risk doctor in the US, who is like, why have you only been taking 1 dose a day? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, you should be on 2 doses a day. First of all, the 1 dose a day in Jamaica cost about $1,000 US a month. So 2 doses a day would have been $2,000 a month. And that's not actually why I didn't take it, because obviously you find it when you need it. The issue for me was, 1, they didn't tell me I had to, so great. But 2, it hurt so bad. And it's just like, it was dreadful. It was some mornings I would cry. Like, it was so bad. So, did I hate my husband? No. No, I actually didn't resent my husband until the baby was actually born. Hear this. I didn't resent him until my baby was born. Because I found that my baby changed my life, right? So now, I went through this pregnancy where I couldn't do anything, and I was wanting to get back to life now. Oh yes, I got the baby out. I can, you know, get back. Even though COVID was still keeping, and, you know, I just had to figure it out within COVID, and now being a new mom, it was, the issue that I had was, okay, how do I do it all? And then I look over at my husband, and my husband's going to work and coming home like nothing, like everything's the same for him. And I had to be figuring out a whole new life and how to exist and how to get back to me, and not feeling myself yet. And I was just like, nothing has changed for him, and everything has changed for me. My baby needs me. I was breastfeeding, and I'm still breastfeeding. And, you know, I have to make myself available for that, which means I can't do something else that might be more, well, it's not more productive, is it? Taking care of your baby is like the most productive thing you can do. But, you know, in my mind, I could do other things just like I did before, and that wasn't the case. So I began to resent him at that point. And then it got worse, actually, for I guess that whole first year of Lyric's life, because it was just like, okay, I am feeling the pressure to get back. I haven't earned in over a year now. I haven't done anything. Like, I'm basically disappeared. And, you know, you get to carry on. I don't. And now I'm known as Lyric's mother. So I have to do all of that and everything. And I was just like, how's this going to work? I am here to tell you, though, Lyric is now a year and 5 months, and it works. It has worked. It is working. Yes, way too many demands on me and my time. But apparently that's what motherhood is, and you don't get away from it. But I must say that, like, when he smiles, when Lyric smiles, like, it makes you forget all the other stuff you have to do. It makes you feel like, you know. And truth be told, I have a really, really, really supportive husband who really tries to help as much as he can. There are certain things, though, that he just can't, you know. If Lyric wants me and not him, I have to do it. So it's just one of those things where it was definitely an adjustment period, though. And it didn't help that we were going through construction, because that's another real big irritant for a marriage. And life change, too. You know, so it's so many things, I guess, together that would have tested us during that time. But as I'm filming this, by the time you see this, we will have been married 7 years. So we would have made it to 7 years through a first baby for me. Yeah. Through construction, although it's not finished yet, but I guess the hardest part is finished, so to speak. We still have to pack out properly and move in, which is what I've been chronicling just in the closet, but it's happening everywhere. But yeah, so, I mean, you know, a lot of it was me having to change my mindset too. And I guess that's what you called an adjustment. Yes. An adjustment. Because in changing my mindset, it's like, you know, the expectation before was for everything to be perfect and everything to happen right away, and anything I could control would come out the way I wanted, you know, and that sort of a thing. And I think that the biggest lesson I've learned in these past few years of being pregnant and having the kind of pregnancy that I had, and then being a mom, is really that, you know, you kind of have to go with a lot of things too. Like, you can't control everything, and you have to accept some things, and you have to know that not everything will actually go your way as you want it, when you want it. And you really do have to find the beauty in whatever circumstance you find yourself in. And I think it's a good lesson to learn, because having a child is like a mixed bag, right? You don't know what's going to happen. It's a crapshoot. You don't know how the child is going to turn out. I mean, you can try to influence it, right? In terms of discipline, in terms of diet, in terms of everything, right? How well-rounded they are, how social they are. You put them in things like, you know, you can try to influence it, but really you don't even know what their response will be, what their reaction will be, what you'll end up with at the end of the day. But it's still your child, so you have to kind of go with it. So I guess what this was preparing me for was that, because now it's like, okay, well, I gotta see the good in just about everything. And so, you know, on the days when my son wants to like be a terrorist to me, when he turns around and smiles, I'm like, well, he's happy. And he has a big smile on his face in it. So, you know, so you take the good with the bad, as they say. So, yeah. So, I hope I answered your questions. I hope I gave enough information on like my pregnancy, because that was what I was going to go into this week anyway. And I'll see you next week for Mommy Mondays. Bye, guys.